Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network, as we bring you week 4 in the National Football League, a football Friday for week number 4. And as I always say, it flies by. It's 4, it's 8, it's Thanksgiving weekend. It's here we go with the playoff possibilities. Nothing moves like this time of year, and nothing moves at anywhere near the speed that the NFL does. It's amazing. It seems like yesterday that we're just talking about opening week, and now it's week 4 already, and it just flies by this time of year. I mean, as you get older, time goes more quickly. There's no question, but this time of year just rockets by. I don't know where September is gone. Week 4, injuries like always, posing problems. The big story of the week, of course, the Giants pulling the plug on the Wilson experiment after just 3 weeks and 3 losses. And now it is time for Dart to take over at quarterback and see if he can save the failing franchise, see if he can save the jobs of guys who probably should have already lost their jobs. But they hope that he can do that. That's their last resort. This is the quarter last resort for Dable. Either he gets better than normal performance out of Dart at quarterback, a glimmer of hope that he is the franchise and he is the leader of the franchise going forward, or Dart will be greeting a new staff and a new regime and a new offense and a new coordinator next year. That's just the way it is. That's the way this league works. Most of the time when you're drafting first round quarterbacks, you're drafting them for somebody else. I mean, that's usually the way it goes. All right, here we go. We have a Sunday morning game in London as the London games begin, and it's a good one. Vikings, Steelers, interesting matchup. I like the Vikings. Wentz didn't have to be great because the defense went wild and took the pick sixes and, had a great individual performance and some very good defensive performances. They ran the ball well. They got the ball to the people they need to get the ball to. Wentz will do more of that as he goes forward here. Steelers need to be better. They're 2-1, but they need to be better. They need to be better on defense. And I tell you, I like what I've seen from the Vikings. I like their personnel. And they have a superior offensive mind, and they have a superior defensive mind. And not a lot of teams can say that. And they do. They're a well-coached team. I think they'll play well. I think they're the better team here in London on Sunday. We mentioned Dart and the 0-3 Giants. His first game will not be an easy one. He has already talked. You see, Dart knows what his role is here, despite him being very young. He's young, but he played a lot in college. He has some experience. He's handled the learning curve very well so far, but now the learning curve becomes very, very real. He's going to find out every day things he did not know that are going to be presented to him in this league very quickly. And in come the Chargers. And the Chargers, 3-0, 3 division wins. And if you look now, the shape of the AFC has changed a little bit. Cincinnati doesn't have Burrow. The Texans, who everyone thought could be a very dangerous team, 0-3. Baltimore and Kansas City, one of them is going to come out of their matchup 1-3. Buffalo, which was blessed after their miracle comeback against Baltimore, a game where they were run over completely, embarrassed defensively, and then came back and won the game with an amazing performance in the fourth quarter in the air, but also a lot of help from the Ravens. They are going to have a great record. Are the Chargers the team that's going to try and keep pace with them record-wise? If the Chargers don't, nobody else in the AFC will. Because, let me tell you, Buffalo is in the middle of really the pancake schedule of all time. And it's already paying benefits, and it's going to continue to pay benefits. We'll get to that in a minute. Chargers 3-0. They lose Najee Harris, which means now it's Hampton. He had a good game last week. Giants don't have Tracy, so it's scatterboo, which I want to see anyway. And now the Giants are about, on the offensive end, are about the young Giants. This is what you're going to hear. The new Giants. Dart, obviously neighbors. Scatterboo, Johnson. The new Giants, can this be the core that takes them forward? Throw in the pass rush, and we'll see. It's going to be a tough team to beat. See, the Chargers are complete. They're not brilliant, but they're complete. And Harbaugh wins. That's all there is to it. He wins. Whether he wins championships, we'll see, but he wins everywhere he goes. They're already 3-0, and this will be a very tough game. Of course, the Chargers beat you, and I always want to say San Diego. The Chargers beat you in a variety of ways. They could beat you with the quarterback who's playing well. They'll beat you through the air. They can beat you on the ground, but that's been a little lax so far. They beat you with the kicking game. They beat you with their defense. They beat you with their coverages. They do a lot of different things, a lot of different looks, a lot of different packages on offense, a lot of different packages on defense. Tough opening game for Dart, but hey, look at the schedule. There's going to be a lot of tough games for Dart coming up. Washington, Daniels, game time decision. Mariota played well last week. Falcons off a brutal performance. They're not switching quarterbacks. They're not doing that. But I'll tell you something. The Falcons are better than they look. They are really poorly coached, and that has to change, and it has to change quickly in Atlanta, or heads are going to roll. Saints at 0-3, as expected. They'll be 0-4 after this trip to Buffalo. And next week, the Giants, it'll probably be 0-4 Giants and 0-4 Saints down in New Orleans. The Bills, as I said to you, they open up the season with that miraculous comeback against Baltimore, a game that, hey, America had already penciled in as an L. The Henry fumble, of which has become a pattern, and then the breakdowns defensively. Look at what has gone on, though. The Bills then get the Jets. Then they get the Dolphins. Give me a break. This week they get the Saints. Then they get the Pats, the Falcons, a bye week, and the Panthers. Are you kidding me? Add it up, and it's 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and away we go. They're going to be 7-0. And the only team in the AFC, I don't think the Colts will maintain their perfect record. I don't think they'll maintain it even this week after the Rams. I don't think they're going to be up there in the 13, 14 win area. Can the Chargers be up there? Yes. If not, the Bills will be up there by themselves, and the Bills will have clinched this division before Thanksgiving. It's going to be a very easy regular season. The Bills can start preparing for the postseason now if they want. Browns and Lions. Browns get a win last week, miraculous, but their defense has really played well so far. At the Lions, and the Lions get a big win. And let's be honest, the Lions kicked the heck out of the Ravens. The Henry fumble, yes. Some mistakes that the Ravens made and the injuries they have, yes, but 7 sacks. I mean, that was a big win for the Lions. They'll be 3-1 after this game against the Browns. Panthers come off a big win against the Falcons. Pats, both 1-2. Young quarterbacks. We'll see where both franchises are with this one. Eagles and Bucs, interesting game. Eagles at 3-0, should be 2-1. Could be even, let's be honest, Eagles could have lost to Cowboys. Eagles should have lost to the Chiefs. Eagles, it was a 99% they were losing to the Rams. Not only were they down 26-7, but their Rams are lining up for the winning field goal. They not only block it, they run it back for a touchdown. So the Rams are sitting there ready to win the game, and it gets blocked and run back for a touchdown. Rams have to just put that away and get back to basics, which I think they will. Bucs are 3-0. No Evans for a couple of weeks, but Goodwin's close to coming back. They have other receivers. I think the Eagles will probably win this, but I would not be shocked. If the Bucs won this, I would not be flabbergasted. Bucs have, played these games that go right to the wire every week. What else is new? Titans 0-3 at Texans 0-3. The Texans are an enormous disappointment. Lost to the Rams in a close game. Lost to the Bucs in a game they should have won. Lost last week to Jacksonville. 0-3. This is, listen, there are weeks where you say a team has to win. Texans don't win this week, you can forget this season. They are home against a rookie quarterback, against a team that's already trading players off, against a team that is already talking about coaching changes. The bottom line is, despite the fact they deny it after 3 weeks, of course, but Texans have to win this and get their offense going and win it by a bunch of scores. If they don't, it does not bode well for their season. Colts are 3-0, and they've been one of the great stories, obviously, with Daniel Jones, but Taylor's played so well. They have found a star tight end in Warren. Their offensive line, the youngsters have gelled. They have better receivers than you think. They've played well defensively. The Colts are 3-0. Now they go on the road and get the Rams. If the Colts won this game, hold the phone. I don't expect they will. But if they do, hey, that would speak volumes. Right now, they've already sent a big message. If they ever won this game, they'd be sending, basically, they'd be skywriting that they should be taken seriously. Jags are 2-1. They get the Niners 3-0. Niners just get injury after injury after injury. We don't know yet about Purdy. They lose Bosa for the season. They're talking to teams about trades. They're even talking to the Giants about pass rushes. They're talking to teams about getting an edge rusher. They need one, obviously, with Bosa going down with the ACL for the season. Niners keep winning, though. They're 3-0. Well coached. They have a culture. They expect to win. They have a nucleus. They're not great, but they know how to get the job done. And this is the kind of game they know how to come out on this long end of. Ravens 1-2, all banged up on the defensive line. Really having major problems, not only on offense, and you saw Henry and Jackson at the end of the game last week. And Henry, for all his prowess, the fumbles are killing them. But their defensive breakdowns are enormous. Now they get the Chiefs, who should get Worthy back, who in the second half last week started to resemble a little bit the Chiefs. One of these teams, the Ravens or the Chiefs, are going to be 1-3. And not out of it by any stretch, out of it as far as being the number 1 seed, because I don't know if Buffalo's going to lose 3 games this year. But the bottom line is, one of these teams is going to be 2-2 and feel like they've dug themselves out of whatever hole they're in. One's going to be 1-3 right now and looking to have to dig themselves out of a hole if they want to have a season. The Ravens are showing more problems than we thought they would, especially on defense. The Chiefs, we knew they were slipping. Hey, Kelsey's not the same player he was. I expect some slippage from Chris Jones, who is such an important player for them. Without Worthy and Rice, they haven't had, although Thornton gave him a lift last week. Let's be honest, if they didn't have Mahomes, they wouldn't be doing anything. They won the Giant game because they have Mahomes. That's it. They're well coached, they're superbly coached, and they have Mahomes. Bears and Raiders. Bears are showing you life with that passing attack. Williams, 7 touchdowns, 1 intercept. Cut the Cowboys to ribbons. Everybody does. Williams showing you what he can do with the quarterback position, although he still holds the ball too long and takes too many sacks. Dunze becoming a star at wide receiver. Raiders at 1-2, and the question you have is, why did you draft Genty with the first pick at the top of the draft if you were going to have such incredible problems with your offensive line? Genty has 144 yards rushing. He has 145 yards on the season after contact. I am not making excuses for this young man. He has been hit in the backfield on almost every handoff. He has not had a gaping hole to run through once this year. They are not even trying to throw him the ball. They're not even keeping him on the field on third down. Why would you do that if you drafted this guy at the top? You drafted a running back high in the draft. Why? If you didn't intend to feature your offense around him, if you didn't say he is going to be the focal point of my offense, he is going to be a 3-down back, we are going to support him in every way, then why would you draft him? They're calling the kid a bust, which is so unfair. It's ridiculous. Let me see him in an offense that makes sense. Let me see him with an offensive line that gives him a chance. This is a week where you might see him be able to get the ball. It should happen. If it doesn't, I don't know where they're going in his rookie year. Packers, off a loss they never should have had. At the Cowboys, they can give up 30 points to the worst teams in the league. Look how they made the Giant offense look. The other 2 weeks, the Giant offense hasn't done anything. The Cowboys couldn't keep them under control at all. Packers are going to cut the Cowboys to ribbons. I know you can make a big deal about Parsons going back. I don't care about that. Packers are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. The Cowboys are going nowhere. Their defense is a joke. Monday night games, Jets and Dolphins, both teams 0-3. Jets with the heartbreaking loss last week. Hey, they had a chance. They got a big field goal blocked, and they ran it back for a touchdown, and they took the lead, and then they let the team come right back down the field and beat them. Wasn't even a question. Boom, 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 down the field. Dolphins, also 0-3. A hideous early game between these two teams. Bengals at 2-1. Browning has thrown 59 passes, 5 INTs. We know what happened to them last week when he put them up and they were intercepted. They traveled back quickly the other way for points. Cincinnati has no running game, and now a quarterback who's turning it over like crazy, which means the unhappy wide receivers are right behind it. Broncos are 1-2, but let's be honest. They lost a 3-pointer to the Chargers. They lost a game that they should have won against the Colts. They're 1-2, but they're a solid team. Very hard to beat here in this spot. And don't be surprised if you get a couple going back the other way again in this game. I think the Broncos, some people put the cart before the horse and started calling Broncos a Super Bowl team. I don't think they are. I think they are a legitimate playoff contender. I think that Sean's building something. I think he's found his quarterback. He's got his team. He's building it to better things, but I don't think they're there yet. I think they still have to put some pieces in place. Um, the Ravens should be a championship team this year. I did not think Kansas City would be a championship team this year. We knew the Bills would be a championship team, so I thought it would be the Bills and the Ravens. The Ravens have got a lot of issues right now. So it might be the Bills and the Chargers. And I'm not counting Kansas City out, but I don't think they're a championship team this year. Remember the Mike Francesa newsletter? Sign up for the free Mike Francesa newsletter. You'll get exclusive content, contests, offers, all kinds of little goodies. And remember, it's free. Go to the MikeFrancesAPodcast.com and sign up right now. Now, Bet Rivers Football Squares. Players who place a qualifying same-game parlay of at least $10, and you can bet more, will be eligible to receive one standard entry into the weekly square game. You can get 2, you can get 3, you can get 4 based on the size of your wager on any eligible NFL or NCAA football game. Winning standard squares will be awarded a prize of a $20 bonus bet. See app and website for more details. Send your emails to MikeFrancesAPodcast@gmail.com. Here we go. Which wide receiver do you like better, Jefferson or Chase? I'm not in love with prima donna wide receivers who pout all the time when they don't get the ball. If you're asking me to take, and neither of them would be my first pick. If I could have one wide receiver in this league right now, I want Nakoa. I'd take him. He's tough. The gamer. I like him. I would take Jefferson slightly over Chase. Bob, the onside kick in the NFL are just awful now. What do you think the solution is? Easy. Go back to the old rule. Why have, first of all, the whole thing now with the onside kick and the designation is a nonsense. Secondly, because you take the element of surprise out of everything. Secondly, go back to the old blocking situations so that you can overload and have a chance to recover it. Right now, you can't recover an onside kick. It's a waste of time. The onside kick was always a great weapon. Hey, you didn't know when it was going to become a big factor in a game, but you know what? It happened. There were legendary games where teams scored, got the onside kick, scored again. I mean, listen, that should still be in the game. They have stripped that from the game in the excuse of safety. Okay. I wish they would put it back the way it was and give people a chance to recover an onside kick. Doug, how long will it take for a player like Neighbors to get annoyed with all the losing? I don't know. I don't worry about that. Okay. See, they run to Neighbors now and ask him about everything. He's a second-year player. I know he's a good player. I know he's got a lot of talent. He's still, you know what? He's a second-year player. Let him grow up and become a football player first. He's still growing into a football player. Problem is, if these guys show a lot of talent early, they spoil him rotten. Just let him become a football player. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a very good receiver. Let him be a football player. He's a second-year player. Just let him do what he's told. That's what he should be doing in his second year in the league. Joe, is Josh Allen the best player in the NFL at the moment? Not only is he the best player, he's also the face of the league right now. Josh Allen is it. But he has to win. He has to win. He is this swashbuckling, exciting, hero type player, put the cape on, the whole thing. He needs to win. Case closed. Or it will start to become a bit of a anchor that he has to carry around. I mean, it's going to be that way for him. It's going to be that way for Lamar because they're going to put up prodigious numbers. They're going to put up big regular season numbers. They're going to be in the playoffs every year. They need to get there. See, Mahomes, the question you'd have for Mahomes now is, can they do something which doesn't happen? Can Andy do it? Can somebody other than Andy do it if Andy decides he's had enough, which I don't think Andy's going to do. I think Andy's going to stay around. Can they rebuild? And the word is rebuild, or if you like, refurbish better. A championship team around Mahomes. He no longer has a championship team around him. He has been to an incredible number of Super Bowls in recent years. He already has his championships. He already has his rings. He already has his MVPs. He doesn't need anything more to fulfill a great career except one thing. He's got a lot of years left. The question is, how is he going to be spending them? Can they do something that doesn't happen? And that is give him a second run. Tom Brady got to another team and got a title. Does Mahomes have to go to another team to get a title, or can they rebuild around him? The hard part of doing that is, as Mahomes, as the centerpiece of an aging championship group, that group absorbs so much salary that it becomes impossible to build around them. You draft late. You put a lot of money into players who are aging, some of whom are satisfied, and it means no more titles. How do you overcome that? That's the question. You know what you do? You keep Mahomes and get rid of all the other guys. See, they need to say goodbye to Kelsey. They need to say goodbye probably in a year to Chris Jones. Sounds ruthless. Sounds terrible. That's how they rebuild and refurbish. Put guys who haven't won around the quarterback that are economically feasible and also productive and hungry, and maybe he can lead them back to the promised land. That's how you do it. If you keep them surrounded by guys who have won, they'll never do anything. Phil, is it time for the Dolphins to move on from Tua? It's time for the Dolphins to rebuild that franchise. Ralph, what do you make of Daniel Jones's resurgence? Was he always good, but he had a bad coach? He was always okay. He had a bad coach. He was surrounded by bad talent. He was in a bad situation. It shows. He walked into a team now that has an offensive line, that has a coach who has an idea, which has a terrific primetime running back, which has a young stud at tight end, and all of a sudden, voila, this is fun. That's what happens. Quarterback can be a product of his surroundings. Do you think that Todd Bowles is a good head coach, especially with what he's done with the Bucs? Always liked Todd personally. I don't think he's a great head coach. I do think he's a solid head coach, and I think if you in later years he has allowed his offensive coaches to flourish and to do what they needed to do and build a partnership there. And I think the thing that's really helped him is he found a quarterback who can win and who can make plays and get his team in the end zone and get his team home in the final 2 minutes of a game time and time and time again. That's why they're winning division titles. That, and he's a solid leader. He's a solid leader and a solid defensive coach. So, yes, he's a good coach. See you later.